Okay. My younger niece, is a scholarship field hockey player for Monmouth University. I'm wearing her sweater today. We had a ruling in a federal court on Monday regarding the SAFE Act. Now, over a year ago, a federal judge in Albany ruled on the SAFE Act. And it was a split decision verdict. Allow me to explain. The SAFE Act originally said 7-round magazines only, which is a de facto ban on about 95% of semi-automatics in the market. Whether they be defense, hunting, target shooting, competition. Also 100% ban on defensive rifles. And then it was amended to say, okay, you can have a 10-round mag, but you can only put 7 rounds in it. And we were patriots, and we did not comply. Nor would we. Nor will we. So, this judge said the magazine capacity is now restored to 10, but it's not going above 10. And the firearms accessories ban is constitutional. We filed an appeal. The Connecticut rights groups got together and combined their cases into one, and that was heard in Manhattan in a federal courthouse across the street from where I did jury duty in July of 2014. This is a 3-judge panel. Now, the panel was supposed to deliver a verdict, a decision, by February of this year, 2015. The verdict is 8 months late. Now, to put that into perspective, if 3 federal judges asked you for something, and that something was 8 months late, you would spend every minute of that 8 months in jail. Just saying. And the 3-judge panel delivered a verdict. And they pretty much mimicked the lower court's verdict. Now, we were contesting the magazine ban, stopping at 10, and wanted to get a couple rounds higher, if not abolished entirely. We were contesting the firearms accessories ban. And Cuomo was contesting the magazine ban to get it back down to 7. Now, there was no video recording in the room, but there was an audio recording which I listened to. And I swear upon God himself what I'm about to tell you was true. One of Cuomo's attorneys, in justifying why the magazine ban needed to be put to 7 rounds, she said, if someone breaks into your house and takes your gun, they don't want the criminal to have more than 7 rounds in the magazine. Okay. Your hunting rifles and shotguns are kept with the guns in one room, the ammunition in the other. Your defensive guns and defensive ammunition is all kept within a 3-foot distance of each other. Your defensive guns are kept loaded, your defensive magazines are kept ready, and your ammunition box is within 2 feet of it. So if someone's breaking into your house, taking your freaking gun, aren't they? I have things on the table I'm looking at. That's why you see my eyeball going down. Aren't they going to take your spare mags and your spare ammunition box, which is right there? Very stupid criminal will just walk in, grab your gun, and walk out without touching other things. And the possibility of a criminal breaking into your house and taking your magazine, your gun with your magazine in it, that outweighs the possibility of you running out of ammunition on a home invasion. That's more important than that possibility. Now, this woman did not complain when the Journal News in Christmas Eve 2012 published maps to gun owners' homes, and 2 homes in the city of White Plains were broken into, and sheriff's deputies up the line in sheriff's deputy up the line were being threatened. She didn't complain about that. So when the Journal News is publishing maps to gun owners' homes, she doesn't complain. When a federal judge says the magazine's back to 10 rounds, she says, oh, well, I don't want anyone to steal the magazine with the gun in and have 10 rounds. Now, what she said next, I swear upon God, this is true. She said that if the magazine capacity, it's a 10-round magazine. You have a 10-round magazine, and you have 7 rounds in the magazine. The mass shooter will run out of ammunition more quickly and will reload more often, and that'll give you an extra second to run away and possibly have the police come. Okay, let's put that into perspective. When a mass shooter commits a mass shooting, that's a suicide mission because they either kill themselves, or a police officer kills them, or they get the death penalty, or they get life without parole and solitary confinement, and only a priest or a doctor are allowed near them. So their life is over anyway. So what she's basically saying is if a mass murderer comes into, where do mass murderers go? That's right, the gun-free zone. If a mass murderer comes to a gun-free zone to kill women and children, he's going to have 7 rounds in his 10-round magazine because he doesn't want to break the law. That was basically what she was emphasizing. Now, judges are supposed to be bipartisan, impartial, and they're supposed to just let it all come in. I, as a judge, would have silenced her. The minute she started saying that, I would have told her to be quiet. I would not have allowed that testimony in my courtroom. You want to complain later, fine. You want to complain to a higher judge later, fine. You want to pull me to the bar, fine. But I, as a judge, will not allow in my courtroom someone to make an outlandish statement as, I hope the mass murderer only has 7 rounds in their magazine when they go to a gun-free zone to kill women and children. Court is about fact. Joe punched Billy in the face. Karen's fingerprints are on the knife, okay? Court is about fact. Court is not about if a mass murderer comes to a gun-free zone, I hope he only puts up. Shut the fuck up. So what they did was they mimicked the lower court's decision. Magazines are back to 10 rounds, no higher than that. The firearms accessories ban is still constitutional. And now we have a possibility of an appeal, possibly to the Supreme Court. Now, the Supreme Court this week was supposed to decide on whether or not to hear a case in Illinois about an assault weapons ban, weapons accessory firearms ban. Now, if the Supreme Court refuses one, they might refuse all. If the Supreme Court rules in favor of one, that verdict will affect all. There's the Connecticut ban. Also, by the way, I forgot to mention, in Connecticut, the Remington has a pump-action rifle. If you've watched Gotham, you've seen Ben McKenzie use it in one episode. It's a pump-action rifle with no accessories, and it's in several different calibers. And if you choose the 5.56 caliber, you can use AR magazines. Connecticut banned that, but the judge overturned that. So if you live in Connecticut and you want to buy the Remington pump rifle, you can now buy that. Ask your FFL if you're interested in that. I forgot to mention, I'm sorry. Now, here's the thing with the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court can actively pursue any case in the world, in the country, even if it's a friggin' parking ticket. But they typically don't. They typically wait for you to come to them. You file a petition to be heard by them. And they typically wait, like in a video game, the last level, okay? They typically wait for the case to be decided by one court, then the next, and then they get it in the final stage. So, yeah. Now, civil court and lawsuits, if you don't like the outcome, you appeal. Unlike criminal court, where only the defendant can appeal. So this guy doesn't like it, he appeals, and he appeals, and he appeals, and he appeals, and it goes to the high court. Now, they have a right to refuse any case, and they refuse about 97%. If the Supreme Court refuses the case, whatever the last court's ruling was, that ruling stands. If they hear a case, they either rule one way or the other. And because there are 9 judges, it can't be a 4-on-4. It has to be a 9 or a 5-on-4. There's no split decision. There's majority rule. That's why it's an odd number, 9. Okay? Now, if the Supreme Court rules against you, the only chance you have is to ask them to review it again. Maybe in 5 years, one justice will retire or die and be replaced, and you might have I never heard of it in all American history. If it happened, it happened. Please tell me I never heard about it. What happens primarily is the Supreme Court will make a verdict. And then 7 decades later, someone will come back and say, wait a minute. My case is similar. Go back to the archives and review that case from 70, 80 years ago. Plessy versus Ferguson, Dred Scott, these pro-slavery rulings, these pro-segregation rulings, blacks are inferior. They were reviewed decades later by a new Supreme Court and overturned. So, if the Supreme Court votes in favor of Cuomo, 7 decades from now when I'm 103, the new court will hear it. Now, here's the issue. The government is responsible for proving their case against you, not the other way around. The government has not proven to me, at least, why a pistol grip is dangerous on a semi-automatic rifle, but not dangerous on a pump, bolt, or lever. Or shotgun, for that matter, rifle shotgun. Nothing fancy, and Eric reviewed the PAR. I'll post links below so you can watch it if you haven't. The PAR is an AR-style firearm that has a buttstock that collapses and folds, a pistol grip, and a flash hider. And you can put a bayonet lug on, and you can put a forward vertical grip on, because it is not automatic. It is a pump-operated firearm. The gas system is replaced by a manual pump. The receiver is its own incarnation. It's not an AR receiver. But everything else is AR. 5.56, 308, or 300 blackout availability. Magazines, trigger groups, sights, rails. 90+% of the accessories for the AR will fit on this thing. And it's all legal because it's a pump, not a semi-auto. And my question is, why is it a pistol grip dangerous on a semi-auto, but not dangerous on a pump? Why? Now, let's go back in time. 1986, there was a pro-gun bill in the federal houses. And at the 11th hour, a senator from New Jersey put an addition to the bottom of the pack, and that addition was called the Hughes Amendment, which said, from now on, every machine gun made after May 19th, 1986 is for commercial use, for government use only, no more commercial use. So if you live in a state that allows machine guns, and you want to buy one, you have to go back and find one made before May 19th, 1986. And that's why used MAC-10s cost $4,000. That's why mint condition, brand new 50 calibers cost $150,000. Now Barry from Iraq veteran said they'll attach to a highway bill. And that's what Barry meant. Because you can have a simple bill in Congress that explains in 3 words what happens. And the bill will be 7,000 pages long, front and back, single-spaced, 8-point font. Because everybody wants to get their little thing in. Okay, and you'll never know what will happen when a politician is thing in. So that was 1986, the machine gun ban. 1994, they said there are 4 accessories we don't like: pistol grip, collapsible buttstock, bayonet lug, and flash hider. And because we don't like them, you're only allowed to have one in your semi-auto rifle or shotgun. Pump, lever, and bolt are exempted. Then, after 10 years, that was discontinued at the federal level, continued in a few states, and now the conversation is going towards, okay, there are 7 features on your rifle or shotgun that we don't like. Therefore, you can't have any of them. Instead of having just one, you can't have any. Pistol grip, collapsible buttstock, bayonet lug, flash hider was upgraded to all muzzle devices, including brakes and compensators, all muzzle devices. And they added on forward vertical grip, thumb hole stock, and barrel shroud. Now, what is a barrel shroud? I don't know what they think it is. There has been one rifle in the world that I've seen. It was a lever gun from about the Civil War era. Very, very, very early lever gun that had no furniture by the barrel. Every other rifle and shotgun I've seen in my life, whether I saw it in real life or on television or in the newspaper, had some sort of a device over here. So that when you shoot, yes, we're clear, when you shoot, you can hold your hand and you can have your hand protected. They might call it a hand guard, they might call it a cover, whatever your nomenclature is, there is some device here. If barrel shroud means any device that covers the barrel, then that means every semi-automatic rifle and shotgun in the world, except that one lever gun from the 1860s, is banned. I don't know what they mean, free floating, I don't know what they think it means. So now, you've got from machine gun to having 4 features allowed 1 to having 7 features allowed none. Where is the next step going to be? The next step is going to be all semi-automatic rifles and all semi-automatic shotguns, period, end of story, no questions asked. And Hillary Clinton said before, Australia did something that could work in America. In Australia, and when I was in Italy in 2007, I met 6 couples from Australia on our tour bus. One of them was a big competition shooter. Used to be. In Australia, the government told all the people, we don't like these firearms, they're dangerous, so for your safety, sell them back to us at a good price. We'll give you a good price on them. But the flip side was, if you don't want to sell it back to us, we'll take it by force and throw you in jail. So, we know where the conversation is going. There are a lot of people that are singing and dancing in Arizona and Texas and Montana and Wyoming and Florida about how we defeated the gun control groups. We defeated gun control at the federal level, and they're singing and dancing. Well, let me tell you something, man. If you're singing and dancing, you're a fucking idiot. Okay? Because this is reality, and this is where the conversation is headed. If Cuomo wins this round, the next step is going to be all semi-automatics. It might not happen. It might happen at the city level, the county level, the state level, the federal level. It might happen tomorrow. It might happen 25 years from now. But that is the next step eventually. And all of that ain't gonna happen. Well, fuck you, okay? Because if you look at Congress now, you have a bunch of rhinos in both houses of Congress that do everything the left tells them to do. If you have both houses of Congress ultra-liberal or rhino cocksucker and an ultra-liberal president, you will be surprised what can pass. Look at the Hughes Amendment and listen to what Barry told you from beyond the grave. Okay? Yeah. That's the world we're living in, people. And I had a group yesterday, 2 days ago, call me. I ain't getting any money. There's political groups. They call your fucking house. Please send us money so we can fight amnesty. Please send fucking bullshit. Okay? I've had these fucking political groups call my house. And you know how it is where you're in Florida and the guy that calls you is in Nebraska and he doesn't know who's fucking running your state. He's like, are you gonna vote for McGovern or McCarthy or Sandusky, Sandari? Okay? They have no idea how to pronounce the names of your politicians. I've talked to political activist groups all over the country. They call me asking for money. I tell them to go fuck themselves. I got fucking lawyers here to pay to sue Cuomo, you piece of shit. They ask me for money. Okay. They have no idea. Most of them have no idea what Cuomo is. Some of them have heard his name but don't know what he's about. They don't know what the SAFE Act is. There are people in other states who are involved in politics where they're lobbying to get money, calling you representing this organization. They don't know what's going on. They have no clue about this stuff at all. So, don't think it ain't gonna happen, my friend, because you know what? It could happen. So that is where we're at now. We're at an appeal, possibly to the High Court. Maybe they'll hear us, maybe a related case, I don't know. But that's where we're going now. And if we lose, you lose. That's the truth. My throat is sore. Some fucking woman today ran a red light, and she had her daughter in the car, and she ran a red light, and she almost hit one of my kids, one of my girls, but because I'm me, I was on one street. I knew she was gonna run the red light. I knew to run back, and as the light changed, I ran in front of the fucking SUV, and I had to give that fucking. I had to use my outside voice, and my throat hurts now. Thank you.